What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're just out on the Ozark Trail FS2 Slalom. I've turned it into an e-bike with the Tongsheng TSDZ8 750 watt mid-drive motor. I switched out the front fork to the Marzocchi Bomber Z2 rail fork. It's got a 48 volt 20 amp hour battery, this little triangle battery from Powallan. You can use code EBikeBuilder50 at powallan-e.com to get one of these batteries. To get $50 off one of those batteries at no extra cost to you. It actually saves you $50. It also supports the channel, hopefully, I've been told. Let's go mountain bike. I have my old janky phone here just so I can keep an eye on the GoPro. Just so I can see if the GoPro's going or not, because sometimes it's hard to keep track of what that thing is doing. So I rode out here on the 52 volt battery again. And I just plugged in the 48 volt triangle. I don't mind using a backpack battery when I ride around on the street, so I'm not really like pedaling. But when I'm out here, the backpack battery wire can kind of get in the way. So today I should have a dropper seat post, I hope. So for the last 2 days, on and off, I've been attempting to install a dropper seat post on this bike, and I think it's on here and functional for the time being. But man, it is tricky installing dropper seat posts. I was just trying to bumble my way through it. But there's some trickery to it, getting it right. I'm starting to get used to this Ozark Trail FS2 Slalom bike. Feels a little bit better than my other bikes because I over forked my other bikes, where I put a suspension fork on the front with more travel than the bike frame wasn't originally designed for. And then on this bike I just put on the fork with the travel that it was designed for, and it feels a lot better in terms of like handling and balance. So I always thought mountain bikers just kind of like nerds for talking about head tube angles and all those angles of the geometry, but there might be something to it, I guess. I was gonna go put the chainring adapter on my bike today and try that out, but then I realized that the chainring that I got from Amazon was like completely wrong. It didn't have the right number of bolt holes, and then it wasn't even the right bolt center diameter, and it just like didn't even fit in 2 different ways. It was like a total fail. I don't know if I picked the wrong one on Amazon or if they sent me the wrong one or what. And while we're on the topic of chainrings, Lee from Powallan said that they're developing a 38 tooth chainring with the integrated chain guard, similar to the 42 tooth one that I'm using right now. on this build. Ooh. Oh. There was a spider web back there, and it was like one of those dream catcher spider webs. Oh my god. And then I thought I ran into it, and I was looking back to see if it was still there. Thankfully it is. Like, somehow I missed it. There's a black diamond climb right there that I don't think I'm gonna do right now. So today, riding, I don't like getting lost. So I think I'm just gonna go my familiar way. And then maybe I'll get lost at the end again if I survive that long. You have to be careful here because this is a two-way trail. So my rear tire on this thing, how is this thing doing actually? Let's take a look at this thing. What happened there? It seems like it's just some mud. So rear wheel on this thing, let's see. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of deviations going on, but I've got it dished. We'll just have to keep tweaking it a little bit. Oh, wheels or something where it's just kind of like done is better than perfect. Because as soon as you get it perfect and then you go out riding and thrashing around on it again, it's not going to be perfect anymore. So we're just out at Willow River riding the FS2 Slalom. Oh man. It's kind of a weird in between seasons. There was a funky pootie back there on the right in the middle of the trail. Man, I gotta get my goggles on because there's bugs and stuff. So it's that funky time in between seasons where it's hard to get the clothing right where you're comfortable. Because when I was just riding down the street, I was freezing. I had to turn back around and put on a jumpsuit. But then when you get out here pedaling and you're in sweatpants and a jumpsuit, it gets a little bit toasty. Here we go. Watch out, grasshoppers. Man, these grasshoppers need to watch out. This is just... Watch out, grasshoppers. So I like this motor so far. It seems to be working nicely. I think I'm gonna put I think I'm gonna start messing around with the firmware on it and try a different firmware perhaps. Pretty soon here, we're gonna do a different firmware. Oh! Good thing we had the Magic Mary tire on the front, or I would have just died. Bumping up the pedal assist for this part. Okay. When you put the pedal assist up on this thing, it can really get going, bud. So it is a nice cooler day out today, but I forgot any beverages. So I'm just gonna try and pace myself here. I've been experimenting with that spring fork that comes on the FS2 Slalom. I'm still using that. I kind of loosened it up a little bit. I only weigh like 150 or 160, so I had to loosen it up quite substantially because I think it's like a 750 pound fork or spring coil. It's still not the best, but it's better than nothing. I wanted to try it out and get familiar with it. I kind of think if people just buy the bike and then upgrade everything on it immediately, it kind of makes it harder for viewers to kind of like relate with, like when I make a build on this bike, there's a lot of people that show up on my channel just because they have this bike and they're kind of interested in what I did with it. And maybe that's like maybe that's what gets them into e-bikes. You know, is just they have this bike and then my video randomly pops into their feed where I change it into an e-bike. All of a sudden I've created an army of e-bike builders. But I think if you buy the bike and then just like upgrade it with $5,000 worth of stuff, it's harder for the average person that might buy this bike to relate with the video, right? Because like when I see Seth Bike Hacks put $6,000 of upgrades into the bike, it's interesting and it's fun to watch. But I think that the average person is just going to look at that and be like, well, you know, kind of like disregard it because what he did, all of the upgrades were so expensive. Man, there are like bees everywhere, and it's a good thing I got long pants on today. Man, what is going on with all these bees today? Like, it's freaking me out, kind of. Whoa! I need to get out of the bee patch here, like this. When the temperatures start to get funny and the bees get all sleepy, it's like they're all like moving slow and confused and stuff. Man, I loosened the spring up and it's working a lot better. Like, I can tell a big difference. Maybe I'm gonna keep loosening it. Oh. when I first started building e-bikes, I didn't know a whole lot about like bike fit and stuff. And my first e-bike, it was like a medium bike that was way too small for me. And I had those fat tires, and a 26-inch fat tire mountain bike, that Mongoose Dolomite, that thing didn't fit me at all. And then I put like big funny BMX bars on it to make it more comfortable. Some of my early bikes are kind of monstrosities. I'm glad I'm not such a dork anymore. Oh, what just happened there? Huh, I just got the Air 2 on 48 volts. Weird. I did have it on Palaces 5. I think there's something about how this thing is... good, we're gone. I think there's something about how this thing comes configured from Powell, that's a little bit funny. Even on 48 volts. So I have the programming kit. I want to start messing around with that like tonight, I think. The programming kit. I want to get the other firmware on here. I'll try that out. Similar to this bike with the rear coil, like testing that in the stock components. When I get an e-bike kit, I like to test with the factory stuff just so like I understand the limitations of it. So right now, I think the main problems with this kit is that it's just kind of like the firmware is misconfigured in such a way where it keeps throwing these Air 2s. Or maybe there's just some problem with my motor, I don't know. But that's been my experience, is that on a 52 volt battery, for some reason, when I'm using the throttle, it just gives me lots of Air 2. And it's basically like unusable unless you turn the pedal assist down to 3. On 52 volts. And even then, sometimes when I'm giving it full throttle, I still get an Air 2. It seems like something about how the throttle is configured in certain circumstances, like with a higher battery voltage, you get like these errors, has been my experience. And I just got that Air 2 on 48 volts, so I don't know, like, I think I'm just gonna put some different firmware on it. Which I would prefer not to have to mess around with custom firmware, just because you gotta buy a tool and you gotta do some nerdy stuff, and like it kind of makes it difficult as a YouTube creator to like recommend something to somebody when they have to do all this nerdy shit to get it working right. But things on the e-bike builder channel don't always turn out. I just kind of try things out and see how it goes. And it doesn't always go perfect. Alright, now we're on the Hawkeye. That's the name of this trail. This is where the fun begins. Ooh. There's kind of a funny situation back in that parking lot. Maybe if you were looking closely. Oh, here we get to try out the dropper post. Go down, there we go. I gotta like get it into a taller gear here. Oh. Dropper up. Oh, there we go, kind of. Let's see here. Is my dropper? Yeah, I guess it is. It worked. Incredible. Okay, the Tongsheng can roll over that. Good to know. Still scared of that rock. The one time I went off of that rock jump, I didn't have my seat down and it just like bucked me up and my feet came off the pedals and it scared me forever. Heads up, bees, I'm coming through. One thing, I have an X-Form 900i dropper post. I took it off of the Schwinn Axum Comp X. I can't believe how that Schwinn Axum Comp X, that Walmart bike, came with a dropper post on it. I can't believe the Walmart guy installed that thing right. That was not easy to put on here. I was really confused. What was that noise? Ooh. Let's unscrew the, let's unscrew that coil a little bit, see what happens. We'll give it another quarter twist. I'm still impressed the coil that came on this thing doesn't rattle. It's pretty impressive. Usually they do. When you get a cheap full suspension bike, it'll be a rattle trap. Oh. started hearing some kind of a noise. Let's see. Was that temporary? Doesn't seem like it. I'm hearing like a spoke or something. What's going on here? I wonder if there's a, let's see what's going on with this. Sometimes your wheel might come out of dish and then the speed magnet might start, oh, I see what it is. It's this wire from my speed sensor. I need to move this zip tie up a little bit so that it holds this out of the way better. Okay, there we go. Man, I can tell that, oh, this is just way too much clothing. We have to make a change here. Alright, I think we should be good. So guys, if you get the FS2 Slalom, make sure you twist that coil shock around a little bit. Get that thing bouncing. Because it seems like it comes pretty tightened up. For like a 350 pounder. It comes tightened up for the people of Walmart. So if we wouldn't have had Shimano Cues right there, we probably would have just broke the derailleur off or something. Shimano Cues shifts really good under load on e-bikes. So I got out the Bafang G900 hub motor, the 750 watt hub motor the other day, or actually today. I was riding it around a little bit. I love that motor, that thing is awesome. It's got pretty good torque too. Oh. I think that the G900 works okay for mountain biking. I was riding on the G900 and I was almost like, oh man, like there are a lot of things I prefer about the hub motor. It's just at the very slow speeds, it doesn't quite have as much torque as the mid-drive. It's still kind of my favorite motor, the G900. I think I'm gonna get a bottom bracket torque sensor and then hook it up to the VESC controller and try and get it working. Because it would be cool to have a G900 that is a pedal assist bike. With torque sensing. It could take some work like developing the scripting or the code or whatever in VESC to get the torque sensor working. But the torque sensors, the bottom bracket ones, are fairly inexpensive, like the Bafang ones. Probably like $50 to $100. Could take some work, but it could potentially transform the G900 into like a true e-mountain bike motor. But then the only thing about the G900 is that hub motors that have a nutted axle. You can't use a bike frame that has quick release dropouts. But it probably wouldn't. I have an idea of the bike I would like to put the G900 on and have and make it into an e-mountain bike. But it's kind of like overpriced right now, and I would wait a long time and to see if I can get it on a sale in like a year or two or something. Man, this wire, this wire today keeps rubbing on my damn. Okay, so I just had to fix the speed sensor in the wheel again. There we go. Put it on pedal assist 4 and we'll get right off that. It does feel like I need to I need to put this wheel in a damn truing stand. It's like it looks straight and stuff, but man, sometimes when or maybe that was the coil. It was probably the coil. I loosened up that coil a little bit more. It felt a little bit springy back there, and I thought the spokes were like loose or something, but I forgot that I loosened that coil even more. Trying to get a feel for that thing before I take it off of here. It's called the Exaform 291R. Coil and oil. And I think that a lot of people that get this bike probably don't give it a chance and don't tinker around with it, but I think you just need to loosen it up depending on your weight. I feel so much better now that I took that merino wool shirt off. Oh my goodness. I feel perfect now. In this polyester jumpsuit. I don't know if it started rattling a little bit now, or if that's something else. I hear a little bit of a rattling. Upon impact. I think I might need to tighten that thing up a little bit. I think I'm gonna twist it back the other way. If it starts making noise, it's not worth it. Okay. That's usually the case with these. Oh boy, what is that? Is it just gonna keep rattling? I don't know. What I think happens with that coil is like gets dirty, and then if you twist it and adjust it, like all the dirt gets into it or something. I don't know. Oh, here's the B patch. Oh boy. Thankfully, we cut these flowers back a little bit. No, it's not such a bee zone out here. Man, I love Shimano Cues. It's pretty awesome. I've heard so many people complain about Shimano Cues, but it works so good with the mid-drive. Like there's that CYC made a heavy duty drivetrain for their motors. Costs like $400 or something. You have to lace a wheel with a special hub. It's got a special 5-speed cassette made for mid drives. It's probably nice if you want to do 5,000 watts with the X1 Pro. It's probably required. But I don't want to have to buy a $400 drivetrain. I don't really like having to buy proprietary parts that only one company produces custom, because it's always expensive. There's always people in the comments that are saying CYC, CYC. I was like, I'm not paying for one of those. I mean, I'll try one, but I'm not paying for it. If it's gonna break in a year, like they seem to. So what I would do with this rear coil is keep adjusting it until it's kind of not too stiff, but not too soft and springy. And there will be a sweet point. We're going on the Hummingbird. The temperature's so much cooler out today. I feel like I still got a lot left in me. Usually right here when it's hot in summer, I get right here and I'm worn out. I think we can keep going today. Oh, I might have to bust the map out. Let me know in the comments if you guys have the FS2 Slalom Ozark Trail bike, or what bike are you riding? I know Steve Cummings, he's riding a bike with a leather saddle of some type. Let me know in the comments if you use a leather saddle. We're going this way. I love when you see a mark on the trail or somebody like was just like slammed on the brakes because they were gonna go straight into a tree. That was probably me last time I was out here yesterday or something. For how much time it took me to get that damn dropper post working, I'm sure I only used it once. Wow. Hello, thank you. Thanks, you too. I think we're almost done with this one. Let's see here. Oh. Alright. This is a trail I'm not as familiar with. Let's see here. Let's become familiar with it. Man, this thing gives a lot of power even on FS2. Forgot I had it on 2. Rocks over here, I recall. That's like a minefield for the Tongsheng motor hanging down. Gotta watch out. Oh. Okay, so we're going on that grumpy goose again. We did that. I remember there's a drop over here. Should have put my dropper down, but didn't have time. Oh yeah, here's. I'm scared of that one. Yeah, I knew that was the one I was scared of. I knew it was somewhere. I thought I was done with the drops. That one's big, man. That's a couple feet. You gotta send it off that one. That's the one I was trying to prepare myself for, but then I thought I was already past it. You gotta be going fast for that drop, right? Oh, you'll just go over the bars. It's a tricky little spot right there. There's a caution sign for nothing right here, basically. I guess if you hit that too fast, you might be able to go flying. Got that coil at kind of a nice bouncy spot. And if I look over there, there's just like a canopy of trees. Wow. I wish I had a drink right about now. This would be a good spot for like a little tent. Just put a tent right here and put up a water station. For everybody on the Grumpy Goose. The Grumpy Goose regroup station. I used to play this game called Ragnarok Online, and I was a merchant, and I would buy potions at a discounted price and then sell them in remote locations, charging an up fee for convenience. It was pretty fun. Oh, a little fast for that, wow. Now we're on the Dirty Bird. Here's those. There's those steps again. You had to test the coil out. I can see how if you use the Shimano Cues a lot, and then you got used to it, and then went back to something else and shifted under load, you could forget. I'm probably going to develop some bad habits using the Shimano Cues and shifting under load all the time. But hey, if it works, I'm doing it. Oh. Oh. We're on the wild turkey. Oh, there's a big deer right there. Hello, buddy. Oh, I gotta have my goggles up. I'm still getting used to the weight of this bike. I wasn't sure if putting the battery in the front on this thing was going to be like a big issue. But this battery only weighs like 10 pounds, so it seems like it's not too bad. Maybe it's slightly front heavy, I don't know. The weight of your suspension fork has a lot to do with the weight of the front of your bike. I'm getting used to this trail. I've only done this a couple times. That's crazy. That's like a trail engineering marvel back there. All those berms, those are fun. Let's try and hit this wild turkey jump today. Last time there was like this big baseball sized rock right in the middle of the trail, and then I hit it with my front wheel and it felt like my bars went crooked or something, and it totally discombobulated the whole thing. Now I need some different grips on this thing. Is something I gotta do, I think. I didn't have too big of a problem with these grips until I started going on like 2-hour mountain biking expedition. Oh, and they are becoming uncomfortable. Lost the pedal. Whoa. Okay. Oh, drop her down. There we go. Oh, there's so many rocks right there. There's so much sand going up that jump. I don't know how you're supposed to get any speed. Wow. So I'm 0 for 2 on hitting that jump. Okay, dropper's back in place. Nice. I can't believe I got that dropper post working. I'm still slightly impressed that I ever figured that out. So I took the dropper post off of one bike, and then I thought I was just gonna slap it on another bike quick. But man, is my glove tight here? What is going on here? I took a dropper off one bike, I put it on the other bike, and oh my goodness. I've never installed one of those things before. It was not easy. And it wasn't routing it through the frame like that wasn't hard. There's kind of a guide to do that. And I got it through there easy. but it was like the order of operations that you have to do things in, and like measure the length of the housing and the cable and everything. And then I think the cable kept getting pinched by the motor or something down by the bottom bracket where it comes out of the internal routing, and that was throwing me for a loop. And then the little thing that you attach the cable, that you secure the cable inside of the dropper post, like where it pulls the little lever on the dropper post. The cable was like, I was tightening that thing like all the way, and the cable is like slipping through it still somehow. So I had to put some Loctite on that, like the cam screw, because I don't know, like I guess just like pulling the cable through that thing was like backing the screw out somehow. I mean, it was like I took it all apart and put it all back together like several times. Oh. And I finally got it. Kind of. And then luckily, let's see what's going on here. Luckily there's this thing right here on the dropper remote lever where you can pull the cable out here to get the slack out of the line and then secure it right here. And that was something I didn't realize. And I was just kind of sitting in front of my bike staring at it, defeated, looking at the lever, and then I realized that you could do that. And that was a game changer. That was like the missing link. And if you go look it up on Park Tool, it's like an 8-minute video. But the thing about the Park Tool videos are so confusing is there's like different kinds of dropper posts, and there's like different ways that they all work, and then they try to explain all of the different types of dropper posts and all of the different ways that they work and how to install the different ones in one 8-minute video on Park Tool. And it's just like, holy, this is confusing. And I kept getting slack in my line. Like I would pull all of the slack out up towards the front so that there was no slack and all the loose part was like up here. But so many things were going wrong with it, it was like hard to tell what was even wrong. What's going on with my phone there? So it's kind of cool today. Oh, it's kind of cooler today. I think Oh, make it a little longer. Oh, look at this. So we were on the Dirty Bird and Wild Turkey, so Timberdoodle goes back that way. Maybe today we'll go down the Sneaky Weasel, and then we'll go down Largemouth Bass. That'll be something new. I don't think I've done that. I think I also see some other trails, some green ones, that we might be able to look at the end. Let's see how much battery we have left. There's a list of all of the volunteers that help with the trails over there. That's kind of cool. Man, we got to get this thing under control here. What is going on with this? All right. I've been on this trail for a while. Oh, yeah, I landed and like a stick was getting caught up in my junk. Once in a while I kind of lose it with these kind of kendas, but I think that's the first time I've had this chain fall off of this to the inside. I've turned the power of the motor off to 0. This 42 tooth chainring from Powallon works all right for not being narrow wide. I turned the pedal assist up to 4 a little bit. Oh, hello, dear. The eyes look so scared. So let's see here. I heard something loud crunching in the woods over here a moment ago. I'm hoping it was just the deer that I saw. Whoa! Magic Mary saved me. Not gonna leave it on pedal assist for too long, so I can gauge the battery based on my last ride, where I was on 3 for most of it. I don't really mind this rear shock, this coil, it's not too bad, I don't know. Once you dial it in a little bit. I'm gonna put the Fox Float DPS E-ball on here, but haven't had a chance to fit it on here yet. Oh! Pedal strike. I'm lucky my foot wasn't down there. Oh, squirrel. It is kind of slow shifting with this Shimano Cues. Like, it doesn't shift right away, but I think on an e-bike maybe it's not as much of a problem. I think my favorite thing about this bike so far was just like this whole Shimano Cues thing and how good it shifts with the mid-drive. I was looking at the, I guess they call it Linkglide, the Shimano Cues chains. It's called Linkglide instead of Hyperglide. And it's like it seems like there's a tooth on the sprockets. It's kind of like a shark fin or something. So it kind of like shifts slower, but it like shifts better under load, and I really like it. Because shifting under load was just like normal derailleurs. Things can go wrong. There's like a whole entire product, shift sensor that was invented just so that you could cut power when the derailleur is shifting based on the movement of the shift cable. But what's better is if you can just shift under load without even pausing motor power at all, and it can just shift without anything, without the chain having problems and crunching and twisting up your derailleur and stuff. Usually I just buy my stuff on Amazon, but I think on Amazon there's a lot of counterfeit Shimano things. Like if you buy Shimano chains on Amazon, you'll get fake ones. And they look almost identical, but if you go watch videos where they look closely at the chains, there's like chamfering on the inner plates and like the inner parts of chains, of the real chains, but then on the counterfeit ones there aren't. And it's like they look almost identical, but they're, one's this counterfeit piece of garbage. I think there's kind of conflicting information about whether or not this Shimano Cues that comes on this bike has a clutch. I mean, it seems, I don't know. It seems like it does have a clutch. When I do the drop test with this thing, like it barely, I mean, it just barely moves. It's just kind of like, you know, usually if a derailleur doesn't have a clutch and you drop it, it'll just be like that. I was gonna, oh, what's going on here? Oh, I think my brake lever, there's some play where it can bend downwards a little bit and then it's out of range of the brake sensor. I gotta fix that. Because sometimes when I rest my finger on the brake lever, it's cutting it out. Let's keep going this way. It's a lot easier to get around out here when it's not 100 degrees. Should have put the dropper down for that. Wow. I don't usually go down this trail this way, so I'm not familiar with these. I like when there's a drops ahead sign, so I know when to put the dropper down. I don't have this one memorized yet. So one thing that threw me off with this bike was that the inner tubes are Presta valve and they don't have removable valve cores, so I couldn't get flat out in the Presta valves on the tubes that came on this bike. Man, sometimes sometimes I just like randomly lose my balance. I don't know. I don't know if it's my backpack or what. My backpack isn't that heavy. It's like 5 pounds or something. We're still going. What are we at here? It says 52 volts. On our 48 volt battery. Oh, that was the worst shift I've had yet. I've only had a few of those. I think it only shifted rough because I was shifting into my second gear and the chain is a little bit short. I was looking at those dang Shimano Linkglide chains. I think I'd have to buy 2 chains, because I have to buy one, and then and it wouldn't match this one that's on the bike, because it's some generic thing that I can't identify. So I'd have to buy a Linkglide chain, and I'd probably have to buy 2 of them to make it long enough to fit the chainring and the gearing that I have on this thing. I don't know if just one chain could fit this 42 tooth chainring in the front. And a 40, I don't know what I'm not sure what the tallest gear or what the lowest gear on this is, the teeth on it, 40 something, 46, I don't know. 46, 42, oh, my brake sensor, like, my brake sensor cut out on me right there. I gotta move this little thing closer here because it keeps okay. It seems like I'm pretty sure my derailleur's in the wrong gear. There we go. That could have been crunchy. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing going. Oh my god. Wow. What just happened? Did that shift into third? It seems like the chain, like, the chain jumped, like, back into third and then back into second. As I was going uphill from a stop, and the Shimano Cues handled it. I still haven't had any flats with the Kenda tires. They're still going. It couldn't be helped. I'll have to edit that part out. Whoa. All right, we got through the bees right there. Ooh, I got to stay on 5. You don't need that. if I know I'm shifting at a bad time, I'll try and do it slightly gently for the Shimano Cues, but for the most part it doesn't even matter. What's going on with this app? There it goes. Finally, wow. Man, I just got really hot sitting there trying to figure my GoPro out. I was doing pretty good till the GoPro, oh, it got me all sweaty. Oh boy. Despite all of its glaring issues and flaws that GoPro never seems to fix, I still think it looks the best somehow, like the colors or something. Oh my god. Leaning into that corner a little bit too much there. Here, 49 volts. Ah. I did have some aspirations earlier to go a little bit farther today. Oh, but when you start getting down to half battery, I'm gonna need a lot of that to get back. So I think we have to make our way back to the beginning. This is probably like the extent of the 20 amp hour battery. If I plug it in at the beginning of the trail, this is kind of like the 20 amp hour tour. Also including the ride back home, which is quite a while. Whoa, really sandy. Wow, just felt lost it. Just felt lost the front wheel there and I just barely hit the front brake. I think this coil might have got a little rattly now that I've continued to loosen it up. It's done that in the past and it went away when I just kept riding it. I think it got dirty, and when it gets all dirty and gritty, it'll be creaking. But if you just keep going, it'll kind of clean itself off eventually. I actually don't know if I want to push it with the battery today. I think I'm gonna keep going this way. Make my exit. Because I did go a little bit farther today than I went on timber doodle. Nice, that's something I skipped last time. So I'm probably gonna make my way out of here. Time to do something else, time to do something different. We're gonna go back and try to get that shock on here. It'll make this thing a lot more quiet and it'll obviously work better. And then also we got to get the open source firmware on here so that it's not overheating. And I think, I don't know, I think it has like some field weakening and stuff maybe, so maybe play around with the open source firmware a little bit. See, now I'm cold. Like as soon as you start moving, I feel cold, like I gotta put my other shirt back on. There's a squirrel freaking out back there. It's always good to bring an extra shirt when you go mountain biking because sometimes it's gross if your whole shirt is just sweaty when you get done and you're just one of those guys with a sweaty back shirt. Sometimes I get done riding my bike and then I go to McDonald's to get my iced coffee. Oh, and the people are looking at me like, because it looks like I just crawled out of a sauna wearing a t-shirt. Man, now that I stopped, I feel hot again. Man, I think I have to put this shirt on or it's gonna be cold. The damn neck gaiter wasn't hanging down the way that whole time. Once in a while I'll have a travesty where I record a video, but there was like something hanging in the way of the camera the whole time, or like a backpack strap. It's like rattling on the GoPro the whole time. And after making those mistakes enough times, I usually remember to keep an eye on it, but it can be tricky. It's kind of, you gotta babysit. It's kind of like babysitting using a GoPro. You really gotta keep an eye on it. Alright guys, well that's it for this ride. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to try out the firmware soon here. I'm going to put the chainring adapter on here. And we're going to upgrade the shock on this thing. So stay tuned on the e-bike builder channel. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you're a true e-bike bubby. And for that, I salute you. I'm even cold with this shirt on, fur. Alright, well thanks for watching guys. I'm going back home to eat some dinner. Thanks for riding along. I gotta get my e-bike backpack all set for fall with like different clothes and stuff, because it's tricky to get it right. Alright, peace out dudes, later.